Hi, Vijay Mystery here, and thank you for joining me in this particular video, which is all about governance. What is governance? Now, this video is exclusively for private companies and family-owned businesses. So let's deep dive, and I'll give you my take on what good governance is. First and foremost, it's about expectations. Let me ask you a question. How clear are you about your organization's owners' expectations? 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, how clear are you about the owner's expectations? This is one of the vital ingredients of governance, because at the end of the day, you need to find out what the SPOD is. By SPOD, I mean specific point of destination. It is extremely important that that one point is identified. I have seen many organizations missing this one particular point. So the first and foremost is to ensure that you understand what the owner's expectations are with complete clarity. And to extend this further, I just want to share with you that when you are looking at expectations, intentions are aligned. So the board level intentions are then aligned to a clear outcome, to a clear expectation. So it is completely outcome driven with clarity. Let's move forward to the next point, which is accountability. Now, accountability is crucial in governance. When we are talking about accountability, roles, responsibilities, transparency, authority has to be clearly defined. What I have noticed, sadly, is that organizations have got this fuzziness. They're not sure about what the discussions at governance level are. Now, these are supposed to be at macro level, and I'll deep dive slightly into what I really mean. But at this point, I just want you to understand that it is at that elevated macro level discussions where the leverage points are. This is why you need to see what the expectations are. And this is why it is very crucial to ensure there is clear accountability, the chain of command, who's responsible for what, everything has to be clearly identified and defined. So that is very important. The third point which I would like to bring forward is focused on outcomes. Now, what are directors supposed to do? They are supposed to contribute to the effectiveness and the growth of the organization. So at the end of the day, what they really need to do is whenever any choices, whenever any decisions are being made, the effectiveness is based on what the outcome is. What I notice in some organizations is there is so much of short-termism. In other words, this short-term profit-making recipe is there without really taking into consideration the long-term sustainability of the organization. So it's very important to ensure that the directors and executives, if they are at board level, they focus on outcomes. So it is value-driven and it is true to the principles of the organization. Let's move forward to the next point, which is policy driven, linking 50,000 feet. Now, here's the situation. Board directors need to know the organization thoroughly. They need to link 50,000 feet to ground level. They need to know what is going on. They need to know what is going on second level, third level, whatever level within your organization, because policies are so important. And by the way, policies don't need to be pages and pages long. Just 1 or 2 pages is enough, so long as the language is correct, so long as the policy language is crafted correctly with the leverage in place. So that is very important. And at this point, I just want to tell you that this is why I really like the policy governance model by Dr. John Carver. So this particular model is a systemized model itself. I'm not asking you to use this particular model, but what I'm trying to share with you here is that if you have certain policies in place, it is going to construct and it will build up a building block, or rather it will give you this building block to growth and success and have clarity in your organization. Let's move forward. Policy alone is not enough. you need to make sure there is monitoring and tweaking when needed. Now, monitoring mechanisms is the interpretation of these policies by the CEO to the board. In other words, certain policies have been set. You could set with parameters or risk thresholds are in place and what the CEO is supposed to do and not do. All that is in the policy language, and the interpretation, which is the execution with discipline. So if there are certain timelines which are agreed upon, these are adhered and complied and reported back to the board through a monitoring mechanism with clear interpretation as to what the policy said. So it's very important. Now, as the business grows, evolves and changes, there needs to be tweaks made to the policies. So again, the policies need to be tweaked to ensure that the current conditions are taken into account. Let's move forward to the next point, which is very important, and that is the leadership pipeline, which must be forward-looking. Now look, it's all about resources. It's all about the leadership that you have in your organization. And leadership must have the intelligence, must have the impact, must have the influence, and it must have the implementation to ensure that the traction is there in place. So it's very important that you have the right leadership pipeline in place who collectively understand what the expectations, what are the clear expectations of the owners. This is extremely powerful and this is extremely important for any organization to grow. Now, this is my take on what governance is, but I'm not finished. There are certain other areas which I would like to share, and these are contributing to strategy. Now look, management owns the strategy. In other words, it's the management who owns the strategy. The directors and executives can contribute to the strategy itself, which is activity. It's different from the spot, the specific point of destination, which is that clear, succinct expectation 3, 5, 7 years from now. So it's very important you understand that strategy is activity driven, but boards can contribute to the strategy. And secondly, and most importantly, is networking and connecting, building those connections, getting those agreements in place, having the influence and connectivity to ensure that the network is there and helping the organization position further. So in the next video, I'll be sharing more insights as regards governance and different areas of governance. So that's what I'll be doing. So I hope you enjoyed this particular video on governance as much as I enjoyed making it, and I would like to invite you to a free video series. This is experiencing the 360-degree value creation model. It's about practical insights about organizations, and you just have to go to www.rentadirector.com and just enter your name and email and you'll get access. In any case, whatever you decide, wish you every success and thank you for joining. Bye for now.